here's what we're going to do today. Here's the plan. I want to take and I want to have a conversation with you about this deck, and we're going to go through and just chit-chat about it. But before we jump into your very cool Air Jiro deck, let me ask some preliminary questions. Is this an IRL deck? Is this a deck that you have made, or is this a deck that you're just like theory crafting in your head?
This is a deck that I actually made, and I've played in locals before.
Okay.
And I'm kind of like when I first got into it, because I didn't have any connection to the series whatsoever. I just chose characters based off mechanics,
I love
and
that.
the two that I chose were Jiro and Momo.
Okay. A lot of synergy there. Those two characters absolutely love touching each other's kits. That's good.
And so yeah, no, I've played this, and this is kind of what I've narrowed it down to, and I'm looking to see like, are there like numbers? That's the problem I'm having with is like knocking this down a couple, adding this. Should I go up a couple of cards since I'm only at 51? I'm
Right at the
at the
cusp.
bare
Yeah.
minimum.
Okay. Okay. I love it. I love it. And then how competitive do you want this deck to be?
I mean, I'd like to win, but this is probably the deck that I want to beat.
Say that again one more time.
I want this to be probably my most competitive.
You are cutting out real bad.
Sorry, hang on. Is that better?
It is. It is just a bit better, I think. Okay.
Yeah, I'm using an old USB wireless mic, or Walmart mic, so.
I love it. I love it. Logan in the chat says, I think Jamie should just give up on this deck. And so I guess that's just what we have to do. We just got to give up on it.
It's actually one of my local players, a good friend of mine.
All right, so hit me with the elevator pitch. What's this Jiro deck doing? What are you thinking?
So the idea behind it was to just make as much use as Jiro's responsibilities as possible.
Okay.
So, and then ends like the final hit would be the home run comet.
Okay.
Zero gravity lift. Even if I play it as my first card, it's getting that +1 anyway, so it hits that odd number, and therefore it'll do that extra damage. And it's kind of just the fill my card pool up with as much as I can to then just push as fast and much as damage as possible.
Okay, I dig that. Yeah, so we are big in on big damage moves, which I love. I love the big damage move. Jiro is one of the characters that I think can put out some of the hardest, fastest moves in the entire game. Like playing a home run comet as like the third or fourth move in your pool is like truly petrifying. It's an unbelievably scary feeling.
Yeah, I've gotten home run comet up to 28 damage.
That's insane. That's so much damage. So let me ask a couple of questions first. If Home Run Comet is our win condition, why are we only playing it at a 2 of?
Because I've looked at it where I tried to balance between it and Specialized Sound Waves. I kind of had them, while they're not the same exact card, I looked at Specialized Sound Waves as extra copies of Home Run Comet.
Okay.
So like if I check it, I can then use Sound Waves to put it on top and then draw it.
Okay. I love that.
So in my mind, I have 5 Home Run Comets, even though I'm only running 2 copies of it.
What do you think is the weakest attack in your deck?
Electric Surge, probably.
Okay, and why do you feel that way?
Its power, I've really only put it in the deck for its enhanced momentum. And so unless I can get it into the momentum, it's not really going to do me anything. The stun one's nice, but this is not the card that I'm trying to go in for. But being that it is a charge, I can kill with it, and I think I've done like maybe 1-2 games with it. But
okay, I love that. Let me. I'm gonna take and just look at what air charge weapons we have. What air charge weapons just exist? Blitz Rush, Electric Jolt, Surge, Indiscriminate Shock, Long Lasting Explosion is very cool. Wowzers, that's very cool. It's a 5 mid for 7 in our deck. Man, that card's so rad. Okay. Monster Blast, Amplified Sound Blast. Okay. Meteor Shower. All right, so let's go through and just look at the cards. Why Surge and not Jolt?
Again, for the momentum,
Okay.
the enhanced momentum, my idea was to like the only thing I really chose before it was I'm double checking. Was it's in my momentum, flip it, add another one so I can use it on Meteor Comet.
Okay.
Or not Meteor Comet. You know what I'm talking about. I'm bad with card names, so
you're good. You're good. I'm also I'm only okay with card names. I know the picture. The picture looks good.
Yeah, the pillar swing. But that's not pillar swing.
But not pillar swing.
Right.
Have you thought about Indiscriminate Shock or Long Lasting Explosion as like additional ways to kill people?
I thought I originally was running Indiscriminate Shock. And I think I took it out for Home Run Comet.
Okay.
And Long Lasting Explosion, I honestly didn't think about.
That is okay. I'm just a big simp for this card. I think this card's really fun, really cool. Amplified Sound Blast. One of the unique things that Jiro gets to do is put a lot of damage on the flash moves. Obviously, with Specialized Sound Wave. Right. What are the thoughts of cutting Amplified Sound Blast from your deck?
Putting it in?
Say it again?
You mean putting it in?
Yeah. Well, so it's not in your list. What was your thoughts on... I'm sure it was on the table. It's got her face on it.
Yeah. I never... Because it was I'm trying to think of what... I think it was mostly it didn't do what I thought it did eventually when I first read Momentum, or the Momentum flip, and then someone explained it to me, and I was like, oh, then this is not what it's in my mind, so I took it out because it didn't... It's on... I've been thinking about putting it in, because I don't even know what to make it for a sideboard or anything like that, so I've been thinking about putting it in for the sideboard or mainboarding it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I love that. The easy question, Meteor Shower. You just wanted a different type of win condition?
Also availability. I only own 2.
There you go. Okay, well that's all the questions I have attack wise, and we're gonna come back to attacks because I got some thoughts whenever we look at our foundations. I think this deck is really, really solid. I agree with you about the Electric Surge. I think that it is not a stellar card, but it's a flow card, which is nice on an attack, right? Like getting that extra momentum is really good because that's essentially plus X damage on your home run comet. X equals the number of cards in your pool, right?
Right.
Me personally, I would play the flash attack over Surge because one, it's the off zone, right? This is high, mid, low, right? Are all highs and mids, and this would come in at the low if it was the Amplified Sound Blast, as well as it says your next charge or weapon this turn gets -2 difficulty, which means that we're allowed to play more attacks into our pool. We're allowed to specialize Sound Wave more into our home run comet and not check bad on our comet, right?
Right.
Like comet into comet is like stellar to the point where like maybe even we like maybe put zero gravity lift down to a 3, maybe a 2 of. I know that sounds crazy, and then like put something.
One of my names though.
Put something Amplified Sound Blast in just because like it fulfills a different role, as well as it's got this really solid deadlock response that a lot of people overlook in Jiro. If you could just draw 2 cards, like Pot of Greed that does like 6 damage sometimes is great. Not to mention the flash keyword kind of mollywops Kirishima a bit. Like I think Jiro is one of the characters that like if you have a sweet flash Jiro deck, I think she just kind of beats Kirishima. And I feel the same way about Ochako as well, possibly. You know?
Yeah.
Besides that, like I think Electric Surge is a good card. only if we play a foundation, which I'm gonna really talk about here in a second. Let's talk about assets and actions. There are no air actions, correct?
Not, I mean, say for the one that can run in all of them.
Yeah, go beyond. Okay. Yo, how cool that they put. I can search infinity actions by looking up the air symbol. That's insane.
Yeah, they've done that. That I've been playing around with this, and yeah, no, that's good.
Yo, that's hype. That is not how ufsultra.com worked. that's that's very cool. Okay. Earphone jack is a 4 of. You got a lot of boots, dude.
Yeah, so kind of the exact opposite of the guy who was just on. If I ran any less, I feel like I'd never see it.
Interesting. And you feel that way even though you're running 4 unwavering slash as well?
Yes, like I originally ran them at 2 and never saw them even in the discard pile.
Okay. That's so interesting.
And also, it's a 1 high block.
Yeah, I mean, the block zone is great. My suggestion would be to maybe split the difference and cut it down to a 3 of if you're really feeling if you feel like you just can't find it. But the fact that like unwavering slash plus earphone jack like exist in your deck, you honestly should be getting away with 2 and are feeling unlucky. If you do feel that way, you should just toss it down to a 3. I think 4 is just like you are wasting space in your deck. Personally.
Okay.
Onto the foundations. Let's look at spam. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 out of 30. So half your deck is spam. That's great. And it looks like you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 4-ofs. Okay. Let's talk about things like observant student, specialist of sound, Desperate for mainstream, plug in. Okay, let's talk about the unique foundations first. Rescue completed out of 1 of. What's up with that?
It's just one of those kind of stuck it in there. It's one that I might drop, but I stuck it in there so like I've got a lot of foundations that can flip.
Mm-hmm.
So if I have to tap more than I'm willing to because of a bad check, because I've run out of tricks to scout out the rest of the top of my deck, I can use Rescue Complete to kind of give me 2 more foundations to use. And then I could commit to either boost mine or go on the defensive.
Okay. Shock treatment is a 2 of. What do you think in there?
Kind of threw it in there for being able to take care of problem cards like coordinated effort or manly passionate guy, apathetic, certain targets, but I didn't feel like trying to go any higher since it's unique would have done really well.
Yeah, I think this card is very, very cool. I personally don't love it at a 2 of. I think this is like the perfect 1 of in your deck. If I would switch these 2 numbers, easy peasy, depending on how smart you can build on turn 1, just because of Specialized Soundwave being the 2 check, right? Like, you just don't get to play this card on turn 1 because otherwise you're like, the game's over. You've opted to go second, and that sucks. But yeah, I think this card is totally a good 1 of. Maybe if you need to, 1 more in the sideboard, but we get to open up our lines a little bit more. Wealthy Aspiration at a 2 of. What are your thoughts there?
It's good low block.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never really used the enhance, but I solely have it in there for the response. And the idea was to use it with Electric Surge. So I play the Home Run Comet, Electric Surge, Wealthy Aspiration. That's 2 more cards of momentum just from that. Or going off Home Run Comet, if I don't have the Electric Surge, Home Run Comet, add flip Wealthy Aspirations, add another momentum.
Love it. I think that Wealthy Aspiration Surge is like bread and butter combos. I like this card at a 2 of in here just because of the way that it works with like play Wealthy Aspirations, play Zero Gravity Lift, pump its damage by 2, play Wealthy Aspirations, build in the second Wealthy Aspirations you did, grab your momentum, flip Wealthy Aspirations, grab it, steal the second Wealthy. Like that feels good. That just like feels like a good move. And so like I like Wealthy at 2 of it. I think it's one of the uniques that you can get away with 2, honestly, even 3 depending on how greedy you want to be. I'm not gonna ask you about this card. I think plug-in sucks. I think this card's really bad. And I'm gonna change it out for a different one whenever we get there. Release is insane. I think that's great. Wall cling is insane. These are mandatories on its 2 symbols that they share. Being able to flip wall cling and then blow it up with release to auto block something is insane. Requesting assistance is a 4 of. Why is this guy a 4 of?
So I've been using it as if I have after specialized sound waves, if I say I've got home run comet in hand, and I've played specialized sound waves, I've used requesting assistance and some of my other lower ones to get that extra card in because I know I can pass the higher level home run comet to get that extra +1/+1.
Yeah.
And then it's also just a good, if I've got it, the momentum, I can recover from having a bad check or whatnot into the fan.
Yeah. Okay. I love it. Destined for mainstream success. That's a no-brainer. Special sound, no-brainer. Observant Student is the other card that I'm a little trepidatious on.
I put it in there, again, for the low block. Because from when I was looking at it and stuff like that, I could, like, a lot of the cards that I was also trying to look at not just necessarily the abilities of the card, but also the block zones that card provides. Because if I just went solely off of abilities, then there were times where I was like, well, I have no block zones.
Love it. Love it.
But also, if I've used Jiro's ability already, and I need to double check, or I've used Jiro's ability, I've gone through all this stuff, I've used my specialized sound wave, I've gone through all that stuff, let me use the observant student, flip, and check to make, like, it's giving me another effective half use of Jiro.
Love it. Love it. Honestly, there are only 2 big recommendations that I have foundation-wise besides switching Rescue Completed and Shock Treatment. The first thing that I see is instead of Plug In, I actually want to play Charged Up. Charged Up, response to move after your charge is done, attack deals damage. Add 1 card from your discard pile to your momentum. This is the easiest way for us to get our electric surges in. This is an easy way for us to steal our momentum, or put our zero gravity lifts. Or this is where we would be to put the flash attack that I was talking about, and tossing it in there to make your home run comet essentially a 2-diff, right? And then instead of Observant Student, I think that you should play the Bakugo 1-diff that checks a 6. Arrogant Disposition. Enhanced commit. This punch attack gets -3 speed. It's a 2/6 with a 2 low block, and it also says that essentially Home Run Comet is a 3-diff now because we get to stack it with Specialized Soundwave and know that we're gonna check a 6. Like that's like that card's insane in this deck. And not to mention, championships in universes in UFS have been won by I need to check a 6 to live. I think every single character has a symbol that shares at least 1 6-diff, right? Every character has at least one symbol that shares with the main 2 starter decks. Not to mention, Coordinated Effort, the best My Hero card that's ever been printed ever, also has a 6-diff, 6 check with the good symbol. The good symbol should do nothing but check 6s all day. That's just what it should do. And because you are Jiro and you get to stack what your 6s look like, you have so much control to like not need a bunch of defense, which is why I think release it a 3 of is totally fine. I think that's totally fine. But yeah, like we're gonna just look through some My Hero foundations real quick just to make sure. Short Circuit in the sideboard is great. Agitation, we don't play Furies. Capabilities, I think his deck is mad funny. Oh, we don't play Furies? No Furies? Just kidding. That card sucks. Latent skill would be cool, depending, but I think that because we're playing a tight 50 card deck, I don't think that we necessarily need it. Not to mention Specialized Soundwave is a selective draw as opposed to the random draw. So we're good there. Yeah, the only thing that I could change would honestly be those 3 cards. Besides that, I think this deck is really, really solid. Maybe find Earphone Jack down to a 3 of and find one more 4 of that we could play, or like a random 1 of. Maybe even if you're being absolutely crazy, you could put Rescue Completed up to the 3 of. What's our block zones look like? Yeah, you could put a Rescue Completed up to the 3 of whenever we switch Shock Treatment out for Rescue Completed, then -1 Earphone +1 Rescue. That would bring us down to 16, 17, 17 would be our block zones, and that's incredibly even. Like you're not gonna get blown out to random all high attack, all low attack decks. That's really good. Yeah, plug in, make charged up, observant student, make the 6 check, and dude, you got a solid freaking deck, man. If you want to keep Surge works with charged up just as well as anything else. But I think that personally, I don't like Electric Surge in this deck just because it's not getting very fast. Like 5 mid for whatever is not very good. That's only if I have an Earphone Jack. Like it's not that great. It feels like a really easy card for them to block. But if they block, it just makes their home run comments more potent. And so like there is that trade off, you know.
No, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Do you think that this deck should stick around, like, at its limit, or do you think it can go up? And if so, would you, like, add in, you see, like, let's say if I wanted to keep Observant Student, maybe not add a 4 of, but keep at least 2 of just in case.
Sure.
Like, 52 cards, 53 with the character.
So obviously, and I'm going to say this more for everybody at home, not for necessarily you, but this deck is trying to kill them on turn 3, right? Our goal here, like the perfect game for you would be to roll the dice, win the die roll, build out your 4, 5, 6 foundations, hopefully, because of all the amazing spam you have. Half of your foundations are spam. And so build out your 5 cards. Your opponent does something. You play 0 Gravity Lift and build out some more cards, hold blocks to make sure that you just don't die. And then with your 1/0 Gravity Lift plus possibly stealing momentum off of a charged up whenever it hits, you take and just kill them with Home Run Comet on turn 2. As long as they're not Nomu, right? Like this deck should kill everybody, excuse me, not on turn 2, on turn 3. This deck should kill every single person on turn 3, and that's its goal. Right? Specialized Soundwave is going to stack Home Run Comet, and then you just absolutely mollywop them. Or you play so many moves, and they're so big because of how progressive goes, that you just kill them with how sweet your attack lineup, how big your attack lineup gets. Right? Eventually, Jiro hits as hard, if not harder, than Nomu. Nomu just gets to do it earlier in the chain and gets to do it earlier in the game. The longer the game goes on, the stronger Jiro gets. Jiro is down to play in Deadlock because it means that she actually gets to play 6 attacks, and she gets to go find those 6 attacks with Specialized Soundwave. If you are down to increase your deck count, the longer you're allowed to play the game. The smaller your deck count is, you have committed yourself to playing a shorter, more aggressive game. You cannot play a control game with 50 cards. That just does not work. You cannot do it. Does that make sense?
Right.
And so I am down for you to increase your deck count, your deck size, but the consistency of home running people on turn 3, home running people on turn 4 at the latest is what is like the potent, scary part of your deck. And the more cards that you put into that, the less often this home run comment is going to happen. Conversely, you could take and run this same lineup, increase your foundation count by a little bit by diversifying your foundation portfolio, and just increase more copies of Home Run Comet, and then you'll see it more, as well as finding it with Specialized Soundwave. Right?
Right.
My personal opinion would be to actually increase this to like a 55 to 60 card deck, and dude, I would run 4 Home Run Comets, right? Home Run Comet coming in at a 4 high for 5, 5 high for 6, 6 high for 7, 7 high for 8. Like, even if you just find the comets, and that's not including stealing the momentum plus to the powerful and then letting it rock. Like, you play your 2 comets and then stack your deck with Jiro, and you know you're going to pass the last 2. That's so scary, man. Right now, it is not physically possible for you to play four home run comets in a turn, and that kills pretty much every 7-hander in the game. If as Jiro you can jam down four home run comets. I think Home Run Comet is better than Electric Surge in pretty much every way, except for, as Fidu pointed out in chat, it is your deck just loses to Shigaraki because you can't block his spooky choke me daddy card or whatever that is. Decaying Grip. That one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this deck does a phenomenal job of swinging. I think it just does a really, really good job of just getting them on turn 3. And if that's how you want to run the deck, like I think that this is it. I would make those literal 7 changes, and 8 if you want to include the earphone jack down to 3, and then let it rock. And even if it's like Observant Student at a 2 of, and then the 6 check at a 2 of, right? Like if you want to keep it at the 50, because like the main thing you want with the 6 check is you just want to stack it with Specialized Soundwave. You want to stack it with Jiro. You want to recycle that card as much as you can.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can see that. Like I said, this is what I had, and the only I'm also waiting for I believe. Let me double check real quick before I say anything.
Pause champ.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the DLC to come out because I want to try this and add in Pillar Swing.
I love it. Yeah, she gets away with Pillar Swing a lot, right? Is that card a charge?
It's a charged weapon.
Ooh, we love to see it. Page 5. Oh wait, not the DLC, but the tournament packs. You mean?
Yeah, sorry, tournament packs.
Yeah. I tried to look it up there. Definitely not on Ultra. Lol.
Sorry.
Nah, you're all good. Yeah, man. I think this deck is really consistent at doing what it wants to do. I don't have very many ways to change it. I would change literally like those 7 cards and then call it good. I do think that after you have gotten really, really solid with this deck, I think that you should try a build, like save this and try a build that's a little thicker, that wants to play a little bit more of a control game, because I think you're going to find that your Specialized Sound Waves are going to be stronger later, the later the game goes, especially with how consistent you can make your deck. Checking a 2 on turn 3 without any sort of, or sorry, checking a 2 on turn 1 or 2 with checking you're cracking me up, Fidu. Checking a 2 on turns 1 and 2 whenever you're trying to be in an aggressive deck means that you don't get to be aggressive on turn 3. You have to be it on turn 4. And if they get to turn 4, turn 5, they have enough resources to potentially block your comets.
Right.
And that is like the drawback of like the 2 of like strength in hand versus strength on top of deck.
And UBS Ultra does have the DLC packs. You just have to click the My Hero set.
Do they have the tournament packs?
Yeah, it should have all of them. If you go to the where it says set, not the format. Go up. You see where it says.
Yeah.
Don't click all.
Oh, I just have to
clear everything and just click that.
And then all the way
should
down
have,
at the
because
bottom.
I'm seeing it on my screen. Huh? Because I have it on my computer.
You got the not DLC cards?
Yeah, I'm seeing Pillar Swing right here.
Oh, hey, look at all this stuff. Huh. Oh, look at that. There's a card there. This card tilted me off the face of the planet. I got 2-0'd in 17 minutes versus a Mina deck with this card. It was crazy.
And yeah, since it's a charged weapon, it works right into Jiro's.
Yeah, making this thing fast and big seems lame. That seems real lame. Huh. It's got a good low block. We could take out Unwavering Slash question mark for it? Maybe. Big maybe. Honestly, whenever we get these cards, you need to put plus Ultra in your deck. Because Jiro's going to absolutely slap with plus Ultra.
Oh, yeah.
But any other questions, man? Do you find this helpful?
So I've always, I'm still relatively new to the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said in chat back, I sort of played this game back when Penny Arcade was a thing.
Oh, okay.
Back in 2006.
Wow, what an old man.
Didn't like it back then. Like it now. Weird.
Different game company.
But in terms of gameplay, I try to keep one card that of each block zone, so a high, a mid, and a low.
Mm-hmm.
So is that like a good thing to do, even though I might be cutting out or preventing myself from playing some abilities?
The easy answer is it's a case by case thing, right? So here's the order of operations when it comes to me holding blocks on my opponent's turn. Number one, what does my game plan look like for me playing out my turn? If my game plan looks like that I only get to hold highs, maybe I let that rock because highs are really common. If it's only holding out lows, if it's only holding out mids, like that's fine, whatever. And so making sure that like my game plan, I have a healthy move change of blocks, even if that means that I stop attacking before I necessarily am supposed to, unless that attack is going to give me a bunch of advantage. The next thing that I have to look at for them is what zones do they have in their discard pile that they could potentially throw at me, right? If I'm fighting against somebody like Ochako, or I'm fighting against that low attack Bakugo deck that we looked at earlier on stream, I'm not going to be holding high blocks, obviously. And so, like, I don't have to. Thirdly, if I don't have any of that information, yeah, I think holding one of each high block is one of each block zone, is the right call. So that, and then understanding which zone, which card in your hand matches the zone of the card you want to block in your opponent's discard pile, right? And so, like, if my opponent plays a high attack, I don't just jam down the first high that block that I have, because it's possible that later on maybe I do block with the mid here because the mid attacks that they play aren't that scary, and so I could block with the low there. But I know a late in the turn high attack is going to be the thing that kills me, right? Like I'm not going to, if I hold a high, mid, and a low versus your Jiro deck, I'm not going to jam down the first high block that I see if I'm fighting a specialized sound wave, because I know home run comment's coming. Right? Like, I'll block the specialized sound wave with the mid if I have to, and then I'll block the home run comment with a high, because that's the one that's going to freaking kill me. And so, like, deciding before you pass priority over to your opponent's turn, what cards are you planning on using for your block zones is what matters. And then lastly, looking at your draw cards, right, which we have destined for mainstream success, and knowing your numbers, because your numbers are so stacked, you can get away with what exists. Sorry, second lastly, you can get away with what exists inside of your deck, because you get to look at the top two cards, and you get to selectively draw one of them if you have destined. And then lastly for real, I promise, is look at the cards that you already have in your stage, look at the cards that you already have in your discard pile, and ask yourself, do I need this low block later? Will I need this block later on in the turn? And then maybe we don't build that one. Maybe we don't review that one. Maybe we actually hold that high block, because I've built a lot of high blocks, I've checked a lot of high blocks, and I know the comment's coming. right? One of the easiest ways to get quote unquote RNG'd out of the game is to not draw the correct block zone after having reviewed the correct block zone, right? I'll review this high block because I know I'll draw another one. But we look at your board, you've got 7 high zones on board, and you look at your yard, you've got 7 high zones in your yard. You still have a 20-card deck. That means I literally have like 5 cards left. So my 5 out of 20, I have to draw it. Like, there's a chance that you don't, right? And so the answer is really case by case, but the average safest way to play is 1 of each zone. That's like the first bare minimum that you, quote unquote, should do. Was that helpful? Did that answer your question?
No, that's great. And I just got to keep remembering triggers and stuff like that because I keep forgetting if I understand correctly. So you can use the specialized sound waves response to draw a card on a block.
You certainly can. And the difference is because you can play playing a card versus playing this attack. Those are the 2 different words.
I keep forgetting that.
It's all good.
Yeah, no, that helps out a lot.
I'm gonna let you go and make sure that you let me know that you said this is the deck that you have in paper, right?
Yeah, I have built in the deck box already.
Nice. If you make any changes or tell me what works and what doesn't work, let me know on Patreon, okay?
All right, will do.
It would be very, very cool to see the progress of the deck. All right, buddy.
All right, we'll go hang out and chat.
All right. Peace, dude.